You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. I'm your boy, Al Mega. Thank you for joining today. We got an amazing independent creator. My man here got a press called Coffee Time Comix. He's a writer that loves crime and horror comics. He also apparently loves cats a lot. You know what I mean? If you could tell from the thing right there. All right. Homie got an amazing new project currently on Kickstarter right now that we help make sure that bad boy get funded. It's an amazing comic book story, black and white art, with a deep story to it, but it's very entertaining, man. Hooks you like a fish. I see so much potential here. Let me introduce the man behind this, the one, the only Mr. John, and I hope I'm saying this right, Kratky.
Hey, you got it, man. That works. How's it going?
Hey, where by I'll make get on a name right. This is like a couple of weeks in a row. Yo, welcome.
Right.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Nah, brother, I appreciate you reaching out to talk about the greatness of this awesome project and putting this, within my vision. I appreciate it because I'm digging it.
All right, great. I'm glad to hear that. I just want to correct something real fast. The Kickstarter actually ended. It got funded.
But it got funded.
Yeah. So, but it's currently available on Gumroad. We're working on the second issue right now.
Give me that link. Give me that link for Gumroad when you can. I'm here. I'm gonna say hello in this private chat of ours. Say hello. Give it to me there, and I'll make sure that I'll add that to our link, and people could get that nice printed copy in their hands or digital copy, however we're doing this. All right. But talk about yourself, John, for a minute. Where you at? Where you from?
Right now I'm in Portland, Oregon. I grew up in Connecticut, though. I was born in Bridgeport, and then lived there for most of my life, most of my early life for about first 20 years. Lived in Florida after that. Moved back to Connecticut, out to California and Nevada, and now I'm in Oregon. Now going back to Nevada later this year, though. So kind of bounce around a lot.
Oh, goddamn, bro, man! Just like me, brother. I've been everywhere. I've been, I'm a New Yorker that went to Mass, to Rhode Island. Now I'm in Florida, and we're thinking about what's next. And then when it's in New York, we went to almost every borough except the Bronx.
All right.
You know what I mean? Awesome. So, how was it growing up in Connecticut? Comic book wise, who introduced you to the culture, and that you have a tribe, a group of friends was popping there?
Well, Connecticut, my uncle was probably the biggest influence with comic books for me because he would just give me his old issues. He would read them and give them to me. So
just give them? That's a good deal, bro. Shout out to
it was a great deal. Yeah, so I ended up with tons of Spider-Man comics and just all sorts of stuff. When I started getting into them on my own, I would go more for I was always more towards the stuff like Gru or I love the old EC comics, Tales from the Crypt, Hunt the Fear, all that stuff. That's like my jam, That's like my biggest inspiration from when I was a kid up until now. But beyond that, my friends weren't huge into comics, so I was kind of a loner in the comic thing.
Lone wolf. But they knew if they needed a superhero question answered, John was the go-to guy.
Right, probably. Yeah. Grew up going to Cave Comics in Newtown, Connecticut. That was my comic book store. That's where I used to go when I was younger.
Shout out.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think I went there when I visited a couple of years ago just to check them out and see if they were still around. But now I'm guessing they are because they're one of the only comic shops I remember being in the area. So hopefully.
Well, let's hope, man, because LCSs are having a struggle. We got to support each and every one of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So from there, that was where my interest started, basically, from my uncle, and just kind of my own journey with comics was getting more. I was more attracted to the independent stuff. I would read Milk and Cheese and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah, I get it, man. Cause I would go to the New York, cons back in the day, the Big Apple cons, and I would always, kind of dig the more independent covers and titles. They just look so different and cool. Like, okay, this, Cap and everybody, no disrespect to the big two, but all those type of comics, like, okay, everybody does this, and like, I want to look for something a little bit different. And it was always available. So always a salute to my indies from back in the day. They always been an inspiration. So thank you for taking this journey yourself. So, to dive in and be creative. So talk about that creative journey, my brother. So, here you are, a lone wolf growing up, you're talking about, right? I mean, you're not, no one is much of a big fan of this. But what inspired you to start creating then? Was it that loneliness, if you will?
Well, I mean, I had friends. They just weren't into comics. I was like the loner in the comics. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know where it all came from, man. I used to love just consuming like movies and comics and as much as I could, reading books. I was reading Stephen King when I was in like 6th and 7th grade, and just like
sixth and seventh reading Stephen King. That's some heavy stuff, for a 6th grader.
Yeah. So I just started like that's what kind of inspired me. It was just taking all that information in and just wanting to tell my own stories. So, creative writing classes were the only class I probably looked forward to in school. And probably started within those areas. Then my dad would challenge me and have me, give me an idea and have me write a story. And eventually I just started doing my own thing. It took a while to really start doing my own thing, probably like very early 20s when I finally sat down and said, hey, I'm going to start writing scripts and just see where it goes with that,
Oh, wow. Yeah, and let me tell you, man, creative writing, wow, bringing me back that I even had that in my junior high school, a creative writing class. Great teacher, man. Shout out, great stuff that definitely had the mind, flipping on ideas.
Yeah.
It's great stuff when you do that. So, all right. So how is it that you learned to do scripts then? Is that something you taught yourself or you went to school? How did that come about, for you to start tackling, what you wanted to do?
Well, scripts, I started figuring it out by myself. I would read books. I started off writing like, trying to write screenplays and everything, That's what I would do on my own in Connecticut. Eventually I moved out to California and I was doing a little bit of that. They were all garbage.
Where in Cali? Where'd you go to Cali, man?
Why or where?
Why and where?
Oh, why? Yeah. Well, I wanted to get involved in film. But I lived in Los Angeles for about 6 years or so, kind of moving all over the valley, lived in Glendale, Northridge, North Hollywood, all over the place.
Oh, damn, bro. Shit, you got it around, homie. Wow.
But yeah, once I moved there, though, that's where I met one of my oldest friends, Tobias. We did our first comic together. He was an artist. He was awesome. He had his own unique style. He still does. He's actually tattooing now and still doing his own thing with prints at Comic Cons and everything. So he's still in it with that at least.
Are you tatted by him?
Am I what?
Has he tatted you yet?
Not yet. He just started tatting like earlier, like late last year. Like maybe he's been doing it for 6, 7, 8 months, but he's doing really well. So before I move back to Nevada, he's up in Washington now. I'm gonna go up and visit him and get something on me.
Hey, there you go. That's love for the homie, man. Get tatted by the homie. Show him that you believe in his art.
Oh yeah, no, he's awesome. He's
what
great.
Are you gonna get? What would you get from him?
From him?
Yeah.
Oh man, from him, he's had these bear designs. They're his own invention that he's been doing for years. It's just like every artist kind of has their thing that they draw over and over again, I think, and those were his things. So maybe I'll do that, or I might have him do like a Frankenstein's monster or something, something crazy.
Nice. Digging it. All right, so talk about stepping in now. Okay, so you're doing, doing your script writing and whatnot, learning all that. When is the first time you started like sending out those scripts and started getting, some fish, if you will, on the hook on your stuff?
Well, I actually started kind of independent from the start. Doing web comics. I didn't start sending scripts out to publishers until a few years ago. But I started with web comics with Tobias. We had one called Coffee Time, which this is where Coffee Time Comix comes from. I kind of just stuck with that this whole time. And the other one was called Across the Way. Coffee Time was more of a slice of life kind of comedic thing, kind of based on me and Tobias working in cafes together, and just kind of came out of that. It was like an amalgamation of all our love of like kung fu and gangsters and like just comedy, and we put it all into this crazy comic. And then we kind of moved into Across the Way, which is more of a crime thing. And that's kind of where I was like, man, I really enjoy writing this. And then kind of stuck to it from there, kept going with the crime stuff. And I also got into some horror things too.
Well, again, here's a guy that tells me he's loving EC, Vault of Horror, those whole horror comics, and they're a combination of both that noir and horror at times. So, you know, obviously you will kind of be digging that type of route. I love it. So, well, when you first started doing, you know, doing the pitch now, like stepping away from the web comics, you know, how was that journey like? Did you find that to be easy?
You know, I put together a couple of pitches to send out. Nothing really stuck though. So it wasn't easy because, you know, it was fun because now I had all these ideas I had to work with and all these scripts made that I'm working with now and kind of looking forward to a future with. But it wasn't until Kickstarter, to be honest. After that, the first one was funded, where I kind of feel like I know my path now, where I really want to start. Hey, I'd love to get published by a publisher and not have to worry about all the other stuff. Yeah. But right now, I really think that Kickstarter is going to be my pathway for quite a bit. I've got like.
So let me ask you that, even though with the recent changes as well, with their narrative to trying to bring in, you know, blockchain on their side, are you comfortable with those changes as a creator on their platform?
Yeah, I guess a lot of people have a problem with that because it's like a big environmental hit. I guess that's what I'm understanding it as.
Most people think about it that way, but again, you know, you gotta ask better questions about what type of technology they're using because we don't know what they're using yet. You know what I mean?
Right. I guess when it comes down the line, I'll start worrying about it then.
No. I mean, it's fine that you use it. I got you. Listen, but to each their own, and what platforms are better for you. It's just a question because have you seen some people kind of leave the platform and using that as their stance? But you know, but I'm not reading anywhere where we have some, you know, firm information on what's the tools that they're using and this, that, you know, to really have this exodus, you know, undeserved exodus right now, you know. And again, and blockchain is blockchain. It's something, you know, it's just with any new technology, right? Everybody's always running first.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're hugging it.
Right. Yeah. It makes me think about, like, I don't know if this is like comparable, but you know, every time a new thing came out, like a VCR or a DVD player or a Blu-ray, there's always some kind of problem with like the
DVDs on last, they scratch. Who cares? And like that shit took out you know, although like again back here I actually have a VCR hiding back there.
I still got one.
I got massive tapes, bro. I got some good stuff. I got the original Friday the 13th on tape, some Freddy's, nice. You know, some gems, even the Exorcist, you know, the special editions of Exorcist on tape.
Right, nice. Yeah, I still got a couple laying around, like some kung fu stuff, maybe. I don't even know what I got, but some stuff.
I even found one of my old bootleg videos with all the gangster movies from back in the day.
Oh, nice. Yes, with Kickstarter, I'm not too worried. If I don't know a whole lot about it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. We don't know what's popping, so people are running away because they hear blockchain is bad. You know, I had an interview. I interviewed someone before recently that, you know, is a blockchain guy, and he's like, "Yo, people would be using the blockchain, and they wouldn't even know they're using the blockchain. This is how acclimated this is getting already. Like, you know, just guys relax."
Yeah, and from what I hear, you know, I see a lot of the complaints on Twitter, but I guess Twitter uses the blockchain, so.
Yeah,
I mean, so they're already using the technology on other things. So,
hey, what is Twitter but not a platform to complain? The soap opera box, you know, the soapbox.
Definitely.
That's why I love it so much. You know, it's fun. You know, you meet great people, but sometimes you see, oh God, there's so many soapbox moments on that platform. Jesus.
Oh yeah.
I laugh. So let's talk about this project, yo. Because right now, actually, no. Before we get into the project, so how was it your first project? Getting that out there. You know, building a team behind that, and has it gotten easier in the years since up until now?
Yeah. I'm finding, and this isn't to be rude to some of the people I've worked with in the past, but I've had people like artists and stuff that I was working with just disappear on me, you know, and that makes it really hard. Then I've had to hire other artists that kind of emanate that style so I can finish like 5 more pages of a comic. And that's been, really hard, especially when, you're just spending your own money to pay these people,
Oh, yeah, man.
that makes it tough. But I'm working with people like Michelle, who I'm doing Home Free with. I've worked on a 300-page graphic novel with her previously that we've done. And we've already got, after Home Free's 5 issues are done, we've got another project we want to work on after that. So
nice.
she's like a partner, we're going to be in this for a while together, as long as it keeps going well,
How does it feel to find somebody like true to their word and getting the job done?
Oh, it's great. It's great. I'll work with her forever. I think like the way we both enjoy the crime and noir style. So we both bring like the same kind of thing to it. We want to have like that, fun crime story, but like have it with a heavy emotion to it and heavy drama and everything. She does that with her characters, and I think I, do that with my words. So I think we work really well together.
Gotcha. I know I have a little teaser for this Home Free Out of the 5 that you sent. So, you mind if I play it real quick?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, kiddo. It looks gorgeous, man. You're muted though. Hold on, let me unmute you. I can't unmute you. Wow. Home Free. Oh my God. Woo! Issue 1 out of the 5. 5 issue series. Already funded. The first issue. Artist Michelle Lodge. Shout out. Writer John Kratky. Who we have on today. Woo!
All right.
That looks sexy, John. Jesus Christ, that artwork is dope. Talk to us. What is Home Free, man? I had the pleasure of reading, and let me tell you, man, just before you start that, I'm like, just wild, yo. It's dark. It's deep. You're touching on some crazy things here, bro. With the protagonists in the story. So, where does it come from? What's popping?
All right. This is kind of hard to explain. I never actually had to spiel this out like out loud before. So, Home Free is actually the graphic novel that I worked on with Michelle. This is actually kind of a sequel. It's like a loose sequel that happens 10 years after the Black Wall.
Okay.
Home Free. The character Sarah was in the Black Wall, and it basically the Black Wall. Let me start with the Black Wall, because this might be a little easier.
Okay.
That was a comic about this character named Hank, and we're in this world where surveillance is getting bigger and bigger. So this was obviously written like quite a few years ago, because nobody thinks about surveillance anymore. But he ends up getting a job with a friend who works for a surveillance company, and everything starts kind of spiraling out of control from there, because we don't know what his friend's really up to, and Hank is kind of just doing the things his friend wants to do, because after he met this girl Sarah, she disappeared, and then because when he met her, he like beat up the guard to get her away from him, and then she disappeared on him, and so he's been tracking her the whole time, but doing these odd jobs for his friend on the side, and the story kind of comes to at the end. Hopefully that kind of makes sense.
Okay.
And then this story is 10 years after the events that happened in that story, and I wrote this one in such a way that you don't have to have read the first comic. So if you read this comic, and then you read the Black Wall, it's going to completely make sense, but in a completely different way. And if you read the Black Wall first, and then you read Home Free, it's just going to build off of that story. And you're going to see what happens to Sarah afterwards, and the way her mind was like changed because of that
So
comic.
you can either read it in order and like dig the escalation, or read it backwards and get a Pulp Fiction feel.
Yeah. If you read it backwards, you're just going to get a whole different picture, because this comic sets things up in the Black Wall, maybe not as they were, but as they're perceived.
So, and that was on purpose. Did you plan
Oh
that
yeah, that
since
was
the
on
Black
purpose.
Wall? Okay.
Yeah, we did that on purpose because I mean, the Black Wall was a web comic. We had readers, but it wasn't like a huge web comic that everybody knew. So
Okay.
we wanted to make a build-up of Home Free on Kickstarter to release these issues and then release the Black Wall as it's finally in print after this, so that it's kind of like, oh wow, so now this thing's coming out. What's it all about? Who is this Hank guy she's talking about?
Gotcha.
You
And
know, so
what's going
they
on in
just
this
work.
scenery? Talk to me about this scene, because this is gorgeous. Again, geez, did you find a hell of a collaborator?
Yeah, Michelle's great, man. She's just like real professional, and she works with black and white art really great. She does the noir and crime thing beautifully, and it's funny because she either does this or she does like really colorful kids comics. So it's like this complete opposite of each other. It's great though. I love
Either
it.
I'm stabbing somebody in the eye, or I got some cutesy stuff for you with an umbrella.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah?
It's great, man. But yeah, so this story starts out with Sarah meeting this girl, Emmy, in a bar. Emmy has a black eye, and Sarah used to be a prostitute. Emmy is a prostitute currently, and she kind of knows, she knows that what life she's living. And she sees that black eye, and it's just bringing her back to like, what she used to do. And so immediately they connect with each other, and this is like where the journey begins, and like all crime, anything, things only get worse, every step they take, something bad happens, and, desperate people making desperate decisions in a desperate world. That's kind of how I describe crime stuff.
Gotcha, man. And where do the designs come from? Do you give, your artist direction on the look of the characters, or is this free will on her process?
I like to be really loose with artists. I don't like to give total direction, like every little detail. So, my panel descriptions, I put it in there, like what's going on in the frame. But, all that emotion that comes out of each panel you see, that's all Michelle, So I'm sure she's reading the dialogue and kind of looking at what I have kind of planned out with the panel, and and then she brings what she's gonna do, So I like to work pretty loose with artists unless the scene kind of is really specific, because the artist is like, they know what to do, if they're a comic book artist, they know what to bring already. You don't have to tell them too much. They know what's going on.
Oh, and look at this. I mean, what's going on there? That's a moment that looks, shady to me. Like, what is popping, What's going on here?
Right. Yeah. She's checking on, checking to see if someone's at the motel that she's staying at, so they can go inside and do something. But, she's got to make sure somebody's not there before she can do it.
Yeah, that reminds me of me growing up in Brooklyn. Like, yo, they're around the corner. Shit. Now. Oh man, and what's going on here? And I really love this scene. I mean, it's beautifully captured. Again, your artist's hand is just dope. The line work, everything, the emotion. I mean, even the way she pointed the gun. This lady about to get her head blown off. What's popping here? Who is this lady popping her head out the window?
She's another character that Emmy knows, that is overhearing them. She's talked a little smack to them. Sarah's not going to take that, and she's just letting her know, hey man, I'm a threat. Don't mess with me.
So basically, this lady is the bochinchera, the Miss Florinda of the neighborhood, the gossiping queen, and she just got checked. Like,
exactly.
All right. She getting checked. For you gossipers out there, that's what happens.
Yeah, don't mess around.
Oh, and who is this homie? What is going on here? I mean, look at this dude. He looks like a total, and she really does, show it. He looks like a total a-hole.
Right. Well, he is. This is Grip. His name is Grip. He's the pimp. This takes place in Coos Bay, Oregon. If you're not familiar with the area, it's just it's a kind of a port town, a port city, I guess, more in Oregon. It's
So you
about
live
the
there
ocean.
too?
Oh no, I didn't live there.
Okay, I was about to
I've
say,
been
damn,
there.
John been everywhere, done. Damn.
But Grip, I wanted him to look like, if you're gonna have like a pimp in Oregon, what's he gonna look like? He's gonna look like an Oregon dude, So beard, beanie and all that stuff. This is his look. So you should look at him and be a little cautious of this guy.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. We do meet him in the story. Oh boy, you know what I mean. Well, the Kickstarter is done. Right there. That was it. But we got issue 2. You said in the works. Talk to me about that.
Right.
Talk to me about issue 2. Talk to me about that launch, man. When it's coming? Because I need to know what happens. Because you got me hooked already. You are mean. You're gonna keep me waiting like this.
Right. I know. Michelle's working on pages right now. We want to, we want the project to be done before we start the Kickstarter. We don't want to printing, especially right now with the way things are going with the boats and in the water, and like things are not being shipped. It's the printing is taking long enough. So we want to make sure that it's just ready to go when it's ready to go.
Thank you for taking that type of responsibility on, because a lot of people just want to get funded and then afterwards finish. Like, nah, how about finish, get funded, so that way we know we're getting our book, regardless of the way. At least, like you said, at least we understand what's going on.
Right. Yeah. And I'm hoping maybe by April we can do this one. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see. It shouldn't be too far off in the future, but it's going to be kind of the continuing adventures of Emmy and Sarah on the road. The next one, I'll just say it here, it's called, this first issue is called Out of the Fog. The next one's called Into the Wood.
She reminds me of? She reminds me like an equalizer.
Yeah. Yeah, Sarah, she's had a rough life, man. She's not one to mess with.
It's obvious
she's
whenever this
she's learned to take care of herself.
Yeah, she's a badass honey right there. Kicking some ass and taking names. Like, yo, all right, what's popping?
Right.
I like that, man. Now let me ask you here: if you could have a choice on putting this on any different type of media platform outside of comics, what type of platform would you love to see this on? Animated film, TV show, what?
Man,
Do you ever think about it like that?
I guess if anything, I do want to say, like, I know there's a lot of people out there and they get mad because, like, people are writing comics like they're movies or whatever. But I write as a comic first, but if anything,
people know good stuff, and it's okay. So a lot of people write stuff just to write stuff, and it's okay if it gets picked up. Don't get mad. It's not your fault. You created some hot shit that people want to see someplace on another media. It's okay. Don't get mad. Yeah, some people do it purposely. A lot of people, but a lot more don't.
Right.
And you're one of those. You're doing it for the love right now. I could tell because you've had a long journey.
Yeah, I have had a long journey. So I don't know. Like, I think it'd be fun in both ways. Like, of course, I would love to see an awesome movie made, but I think it'd be really cool to like just write this as a novel, like a long form, like just like a pulpy, like old school novel. You know what I mean?
Paperback that I have in my back pocket reading on the subway, right? At some point, like, oh my gosh, what's going on? With those crazy noir covers from back in the day.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Yo, dude, thank you. You see, you totally switched my question around. Yes, make the mother efforts prose on some old school take. I like that. That's actually great. Thank you for taking that whole narrative and switching it. You see, you taught me something. Right. That actually is true, man. I mean, with everything nostalgia coming back, why not that format? And this, I mean, one of my buddies in Comic Crusaders, my man Chris Buse is doing that. He wrote his first novel, very noir, with a lot of old school influences and tads, if you will. So check it out. The Neon Graveyard, he calls it on
Cool.
Amazon right
Great
now.
name.
Yeah. Oh, it is, and a great cover was on by Dave Elliott. Team effort, man.
Yeah, I'm a huge film noir fan. So I just actually started reading the last 2 years, like books that the film noirs are based on, all the old like pulpy crime stories, and man, they're so good. They're just like real tightly written. They don't go on too long, and they just kind of give you what you want. They're awesome.
Oh, agreed, man. I mean that Chris himself again always tries to put us on to some old school flicks like, you need to watch this, you need to watch that, and one of the films, what was it? They were like, oh, I never seen Homie. They're Fear and Desire is one of them. Uh, th-
Okay.
they're talking about, and oh my god, there's several others. I'm sorry. They just
There's a
keep
lot,
throwing.
and they all have similar titles. So there's always like something about fear or desire in the title. So that makes sense.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, it's always like that. It is crazy, but yeah, man. I mean, everybody's digging it. So if that comes back, I don't mind it. Let's do it, and then you're helping to bring it back. Now, while you doing this crime stuff with this character, you told me you love horror. So what's up,
Oh
man?
yeah,
We're gonna get any horror coming your way too, or what? Coming our way from you? What's
yeah.
going on?
If you go to my website, I have two out right now. One's called Goblet at the Black Oak, and the other one's called Upon the Judge's Orders. They're both the style. I like doing gothic horror. Like my favorite movies
Oh,
are
okay.
like the old Universal and like the British Hammer films from the '60s with like Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that.
man. Legends, yo.
Yeah, dude. So that's what I'm trying to do is I try to make like comics that kind of have that style. They're set in that kind of world where like this old Europe. Maybe it's not really old Europe, but it's in
It's
that kind
old
of world.
something. It's old
It's old
something, man.
something, man. That's all that matters. It looks right.
Yeah,
Um,
bro.
so, so I do like I've got those two, and I've got one I'm working on right now actually that I'm hoping after Home Free and the Black Wall are funded on Kickstarter. The next one I'm going for is it's a kind of a gothic ghost story called The Long Death. Working with an artist out of Poland right now on that one. She's really talented. I can't wait to put this whole thing together because I have some big ideas for it. I just gotta,
Another she, so you keep finding, female artists. I mean, when I went to New York Comic Con, what was it in 2019? Let me tell you, man, Artist Alley, the females were kicking dudes' asses artistically.
mhm.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I was like, damn, yo, y'all murdering all the dudes here.
Right. Yeah, no. I just like I've worked with a lot of different artists, male and female.
Yeah.
Just the last two just happened to be female. It's just
Because they just
I'm really
murdering
digging
things.
the art that they're doing.
Yeah, they really, because they really come from a different view too. I mean, again,
Hmm.
in the example with Home Free and your artist there, the emote, like really, it's like they really could really capture emotion in the art
Hmm.
really well.
Yeah,
Not saying that
definitely.
dudes can't, but they're more in tune, like with emotions as females, as opposed to us,
Oh yeah.
cold men apparently.
Oh yeah.
That's why we don't see movies with chopped heads. My wife turned away. Like, how could you watch this? I'm not there with a smile. Oh, that looks so cool.
Yeah. Right.
We're sickos, John. We're sickos with this
Yeah,
horror
something
stuff. What's
wrong with
going
us.
on with us? Yeah, not only playing. But dude, man, you're an amazing guest. So in this journey, right? Because we've had it. What type of advice can you give anybody trying to step into the game too, man? And keep going like you have.
Man, it's you got to have patience. I think patience is going to take you really far. Like I said, I've been doing this. I'm just gonna say I'm 43 right now. Okay, I've been doing this since I was in my 20s.
43. Look at your beard, man. Look at mine. I'm 46. What a difference.
Hey, I
Jeez.
got grays in there. You can see it. It's all there.
It's all right, but look, you still got more darkness. It blends in with your sweater. My ass shit just pops out no
Right.
matter what sweater. If I wear a gray one, maybe.
Yeah. Right. Hey, man, I dig the gray. I'm looking forward to it. Whatever.
Oh,
It's
well,
cool.
something on that size that will look cool. Mine's, it's getting there. I'm trying to do that 300 look. You know what I mean?
You'll get it. I've had this thing on my chin for 20 years. All right, so it takes time.
I hope you haven't found any lost cheeseburgers in there.
No, nothing yet. What was the question? I totally
Inspiration.
forgot
I mean,
now.
advice,
Oh,
advice in the journey. And sticking to it. You said patience, right?
Yeah, you're making comic books, all right? You got to be the most patient human being because this is a long process. Even for a 24-page comic book, I mean, just from creation, whatever, if you're the writer, you're brainstorming, you're actually writing of it, rewriting it again, getting the artist on it. After the artist is all done, before you send out the letters, you're looking at the images and the script and you're rewriting it again, send it out. Then, okay, so now you got it lettered and everything's all ready. Then you got to put it out there and figure that whole thing out. And that can take a long time to even gain traction on like one story, and you really got to put your work in. So I'd say just have lots of patience and just keep going, just be a patient human being. You'll get far, I think, or at least love what you do also. And,
Yes.
I don't know, like I've spent a lot of money on this, trying to get this done throughout the years, and I keep doing it. I love it. I don't want to do anything else.
Exactly. That's the proof of that you love what you do. See, folks, you're going back to the comment before. Like, see, you really are doing this for the love of the creation of the book. Whatever else happens, God willing, let doors open everywhere they can. Don't let nobody hate on anyone's success, no matter where it comes from. You know what I mean? And so,
Right.
Bless you on your journey, man. Thank you for being on this journey and sharing your creativity with us and giving us stuff to read and making me intrigued, because this is what you're doing with this crime stuff, man. This is not smiling ear to ear stuff. This is intrigue. Like, oh my God, what's gonna happen next? Jesus Christ. Damn, you're hitting the mark, kiddo, and then you keep working with amazing artists such as you are, bro. I see nothing but great things for you, bro. Oh my God. I can't wait till people read this. I
appreciate that.
People. So what's the website again? The Gumroad, you said website. Where do we go? Gumroad what?
If you go to my Twitter, it's you're gonna just you can just probably search Coffee Time Comix, just spelled like it is on the screen.
Just go there, Coffee Time anywhere.
Yeah, and if you go to my Twitter, Instagram, I'll have a link tree with everything on there, so you can find it easily.
Make sure to support. So how much is it? So are you offering print and digital, both? What can we get?
Right now, home free, just digital on there. It's $3. As soon as I get all the prints in, which they're being shipped right now, so who knows when that's going to be. But as soon as those come in, I'll have prints on there as well.
Well, excellent. Will you be selling signed copies too? Because we're gonna want that signature for this future star over here.
All right, yeah, I can sign them. Definitely.
Excellent. So there you go, folks. Make sure to support it, and project number 2 coming by April, we hope, right? So he's gonna tackle everything from part 1, get that out the way, so he can fully concentrate on issue 2 and make sure that you get the best story there too. Because let me tell you, issue 1 is a kick-ass story. It's dark, it's deep. Some heavy themes going on here, but I mean, it's something that intrigues you, though. Great characterization, and world building. So kudos on you and your artist for creating something that is in fact very enjoyable to read. And again, took me out for a minute, like wifey's watching movies. I didn't hear anything in the background. I was so just focus on the story. So good job again, John.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No doubt, my brother. And with that, folks, you know what the outro tells you to do, right? So, thank you for tuning in to another Comic Crusaders podcast. I'm Al Mega with the amazing John Kratky. All right? Huepa, pa que sepa. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Later. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.